This is a quick performance installation video for K10620. That is an LT Camaro bracket mounting a Sanden HD compressor and a Type 2 power steering pump. I have the front plate and the back plate here set up so you can kind of see the orientation they have to each other. There's a little flat spot right here, matches up there, and then these three holes match here and here. First thing that we're actually going to do is take a 12mm bolt down here at the bottom, bring it in from behind, load that up with an idler post, and just capture it with our 12mm nut. This is going to be impossible in a later step, so we're just going to take that down there so it's out of our way. And then the next step is we're going to take our 8mm, I believe it's by 90. Let me grab that here. This spot-faced hole here. We're going to slide that through there, and then that takes the 3/4 inch tube that's longer. We'll load that up, and we'll bolt that up to the engine block. Down here next to the balancer, you'll see that there's these two holes here. We're going to be bolting up right here. We're going to leave this relatively loose. Don't take it more than a finger tight. And then this can just hang down for a second while we grab our back plate and next spacer and bolt. All right, we have our back plate here. You'll notice that there's an 8mm hole here, here, and here. This is going to catch the air of the compressor. That's where the flat spot is. And if you hold it up here to your cylinder head, you'll see that we have those same 8mm holes there. So we'll rotate up our plate here. 8mm by 80 goes in here. We have a 1-inch outside diameter tube going in there. And then we'll catch the slotted hole here and put it into that first 8mm slot. We'll take another 8mm by 80 here, another 1-inch diameter there, rotate up the back plate into the space, wiggle, wiggle. There is a little rubber piece back there. You'll want to make sure that it seems to be a part of the valve cover gasket there, so I want to make sure that it's not smushed behind. I'll get a picture of that here for you in a second. Then down here, we're going to have actually a 10mm by 80. 10mm by 80 going here, and another of the same size spacer there. We're ready to go through a torque sequence. I like to start with this bolt up here. It's 8mm bolt. We're going to do 15 foot-pounds, but the reason why I like starting here is you're going to be able to adjust this just right so that it looks good here when it's installed, gets a nice clean 15 foot-pounds there. Just jump over here, 15 there, down below, 15. And then we'll switch over to our 17mm socket, hit this one here. Traditionally 10mm bolts do 37 foot-pounds, so we'll do that. Right there. All right, let's move on to the next step. All right, we're ready to install the compressor here. Just kind of bring it in from the back just a little bit. 8x35 bolt will capture that here. Another 8x35 down here. And the last one here on the outside. We'll capture those on the back with our 10mm flange nuts. Go around the horn here. Then we'll switch around back and I'll show you how to get this one in the back. All right, we got a 10x70 bolt here. We got our longer 3/4 inch tube. We're gonna come in and slip this in between the compressor and the back plate, slide this in from behind, and capture this with the 10mm flange nut. We're gonna leave this loose because when we torque this, we wanna make sure that this is not binding up back here. Shouldn't be a problem, but a nice little check while we're here. We're gonna torque the 3 bolts on the front of the compressor here. 10mm bolts, we'll take those down to 37 foot-pounds. I like to get this one down here on the bottom first. Let me switch out to the side here. And then up top. It's nice to have an extension so that you don't mess up your pulley while you're doing this. All right, now, as I said before, we wanted this to be nice and loose back here. No issue there. We'll go ahead and tighten this back one up to 37 foot-pounds as well. Next, we're going to install the power steering pump. We got 3 machine tabs there. You just slide that in there. I like to do the top one first. Go ahead and take that all the way down. When I say the top, I'm talking about the one here in the middle. It kind of locates the other ones for me just a little bit. And then we'll get this one here. And follow it up with this one here. We'll take these down to finger tight. Make sure that it's good on there. 8mm bolts, we're going to torque those down to 15 foot-pounds. We're ready to install the second idler pulley here. We'll take our 12mm bolt, come in from behind, load up the idler post and then the idler itself and capture that with 12mm flange nut. Now we bring these in from behind so that the flange nut is the thing that's actually making contact there. Keeps you from damaging your bearing. And then down here, the first step, we'll go ahead and take that nut back off, get our second idler pulley, put that on there, tighten that up. Now these are 12mm bolts. We're going to torque those down to 50 foot-pounds. We're ready to install our reservoir mounting plate. We'll use our 10mm bolts here and capture those on the backside with 10mm flange nuts. You can go ahead and torque these down. They are non-critical to be torqued, so good and tight. And next we'll get the reservoir and the hose going. Went ahead and attached the 5/8 feed hose to the reservoir here. Now, if you look at the orientation of this, I have it pointing down here, and that's going to be because it's going to live right here. It'll kind of hide it, and it also still give you access. So we'll snake this in here, like so. And I did leave this loose for right now, so that I can get the clocking over here. I can still adjust it as I need to here. So we'll flip around so you can see what's going on down here. All right, we got our hose coming down here. We'll put our other band clamp on here. Loosen that up just a touch. Bend that there. Now, you want a nice smooth bend. You don't want too much pinching. This is good here. We supply plenty of hose, so you might, but when you're tightening this up, make sure that it's nice, flat, and seated. I'll grab my wrench here in a second. But anyway, hold it down on here while you're tightening it up. That way it gets a nice square seating. This has a pretty big barb on it, so it's not going to leak. So we'll tighten this down, get the other one tightened. We're ready to look at the belt. All right, we have our belt installed here. You can see the belt routing, same as stock over here. And then over here, we actually drop down on the top, come across the top all the way up to the compressor, around like so and down here. Now, when you're actually putting on the belt, the best place to actually slide the belt over is have it in all the grooves and all the spaces and actually have this belt sitting here and roll it up there. Now, I will say a pro tip, the way that this tensioner is designed, when you take the torque off of it, be very gentle, because this here is a steel bolt threaded into a piece of aluminum, and if you just go to crank on that, you're going to find out that that strips out a whole lot faster than this piston gives up. So be careful when you're operating with this. In the installation instructions, we call out the belt length that you need. We give you a Gates part number and a length, but every manufacturer is different, so if you're buying a different brand, but every belt can be a little bit different too. So after you get it installed, it's important to check to see if your tensioner is actually in the correct operating range. And if you have any questions about your install or have any issues come up, please reach out to us. We do want to help. You can give us a call or shoot us an email and we'll get back to you. We pride ourselves on customer service. We'll see you out there.